Hey guys, I know I said that the music would be a problem in the second episode, but I'm gonna re-record it because one, I love you guys, and two, I want it to be, good. So, yeah, let's get into it. Scarlet Scarf. 4 days left until the epidemic. The soul lies in a pile of ash, and then blackened fingers dig into the dirty flakes of its last shelter. Again and again, it struggles to restore the images of that world. Rays of sunshine and puddles, wet cobblestones and shining roofs, a sliver of sky. Only words left without the names they used to use, and that, the other memory. That which they did, that which must not be remembered. A cry full of suffering and rage emerged from where the stomach once was. It struggles through the vortex of the throat, falls out of the mouth like a wingless bird. It drops down, its flight ended. The body, the memory of the body, writhes and shakes, giving birth to new cries again and again. As if getting rid of the remnants of flesh, as if repelling everything that could store this cursed memory. Until only ashes, a pale glow, and putrid fumes remain. The anger, the grief, the despair grow and multiply in this new husk. With them comes the envy of those whose world has not yet crumbled into dust. And then suddenly, a touch of strength, color, life, one by one, palms slide into the cloud of ash vapor that her body has become. They shield and protect and cover her essence from the swarming thoughts and reverberating cries. The pain is still with her, but already remote, alien, as if not hers. It is as if someone powerful took it away and pushed it aside, beckoned it to him. Do you remember? The voice seems to come from within, enveloping her with warmth. The soul remembers faces, voices, the old house, and the other things too. I do. She wants to name the entity embracing her, and the name falls readily off of her tongue. I remember, Lady Miliar. I can grant you return. An outbreak of bright, burning anger scorches the soul, making vapors and ashes stir violently. But Miliar's hands hold her together, cool fingers absorbing the raging flame, giving her the right to choose. What should I do? Seek the servants of the old master and destroy them. I glued your memory together, all that you've managed to carry through the houses. I grant you strength and time. What if they have escaped? Mella's laughter trembles, and so do the hands holding the soul, preventing her from crumbling and disappearing. I'll find them, Lady Miliar. Then look at me, come on! The voice stops, waits, and then does not ask but orders. Look! A whirlpool of color catches the soul, and countless hands drag her deeper within it. A shining cacophony of thousands of images, sounds, and emotions storm into her mind, crumbling, twisting, and tossing her upwards like a feather. And now, there are only 3 days left until the epidemic. Despite the late hour, lights shine through the windows of the town hall. Executive Winfred yawns widely, trying to overcome his growing sleepiness. He hears footsteps and the creaking of oak floorboards downstairs. Brother Avis attends, clumsily carrying an armful of old scrolls from the archive. The senator throws the pile of withered papers on the table, and Winfred, who chose a bad time to yawn, inhales a cloud of stirred up dust and sneezes loudly. Look! Look what you are doing! Complains the executor, wiping his nose with a glove that still smells of bonfire. What? Avis, wearing a mask, is seemingly unperturbed. Winfred, help me stretch the skulls! The executor simply looks at him silently. We have to spread out the maps! Winfred puts a hand to his ear and leans over to his colleague, pretending to straining to hear. Speak clearly. I said... What? I can't hear anything. Finally, the senator rips off his mask and shouts in his high-pitched voice, no longer reverberating from inside the heavy beak. Damn it, Winfred! Are you doing this on purpose? Smiling, Winfred spreads his hands in a peaceful gesture. Brother, have I ever lied to you? Take off your crow head more often, and you won't know where to hide from the wenches. Embarrassed, Avis puts his mask back on immediately, flipping numerous fasteners and stretching a creaky leather strap. The executor sighs. Do you really have to wear that thing all the time? I am a senator! Nonsense! You are the only doctor in town who pretends to be a bird all the time, both when necessary and when not. Or are you afraid of getting sick? I've heard there are such... The executor twists his face, struggling to remember the proper word. Hobias? But Winfred understands the true reasons. It's not easy to win respect and recognition in the city when your appearance is at odds with the generally accepted idea of what the Brothers of St. Elmo look like, or rather, what they should look like, in line with all the tales and superstitions. He decides to change the subject. Well, why does Weiger need these maps all of a sudden? At this hour, no less? Ava stumbles for a moment. He did not say. How come? I don't know. He wasn't himself since this morning, as if something had happened. I see. He was looking completely past me. Do you remember the Helensburgh plague? The one that happened 5 years ago? He was there. He and Richard. Winfred rubs his chin thoughtfully. But suddenly he laughs out loud, addressing his confrere with a deliberate mocking. Or maybe he just couldn't hear you. Take off that beak! When the plague will strike, you'll be the first scrambling to wear the same one. The executor immediately makes a protective gesture and smacks his colleague upside the head. Whack! Ow! Winfred! Don't you jinx us now. Once again, serious, Winfred approaches the window and gazes thoughtfully into the distance, between the steeples and weather vanes, into the cold, thickening darkness. He stares at the lights dying in the windows for a long time, and restarts, wrapped up in the evening fog, and then says barely audibly, just what we needed. And that, my guys, my friends, my dudes and dudettes, is chapter 3 of the 6 chapters of the days before the epidemic. This is getting interesting. On the 2 days. 2 days left until the epidemic. The Gingerbread Quarter of Rustat doesn't smell of gingerbread at all. It may disappoint a few guests of this northern outpost, but it's merely a dwelling place of wealthy merchants, petty nobles, wary of debauchery, and prosperous artisans. In short, the place is boring and mediocre. Almost the same found in most Tentarian towns, spread from the frozen taiga to the Milky Mountains. Today, several houses surround a well-kept courtyard, which is unusually crowded, as exorcist brothers finish placing the seals on the doors of rich citizens. Brother Weiger, the Grand Exorcist of Ristat, stands aside and oversees the work of his subordinates, occasionally correcting them and giving instructions. Soon, only one door is left. Weiger raises his hand and sternly says to the young brother, diligently drawing the lines of the last seal, "Draw more smoothly! Do you think of this as the door to your own house?" Despite the strict tone, Weiger is not too angry at the negligence of his subordinates. The local who paid for the seals for himself and his neighbors is just an odd fellow. Superstitious fear sometimes pushes citizens to very eccentric acts, and yet the Brotherhood honors its reputation. They will place the seals in such a way that no spirits, tenebres, or even Melamiliar herself may step inside these walls. Many years have passed since Weiger had to put on the crow mask, but searching memories of those dark days, worry him, giving rise to a vague anxiety of it in his soul. He thoughtfully strokes the tip of his beak on his white mask covered with patterns of the seal, and the memories instantly explode in a cascade of monstrous images. Houses burning like giant bonfires, parades of white crosses drawn in chalk on hastily boarded doors and windows. The howl of fiery storm, devouring plague infected quarters. And the smell that even incense and spicy herbs stuffed into his mask's beak cannot kill. Sickening and sweet, bitter, burning the throat, he will remember it forever, even if the sleeper has mercy on him and all other images suddenly fade. The exorcist shudders and shakes his head, wishing to rid himself of the evil thoughts. He will not let fear take hold of him, not now, not ever. Isolated cases of a disease not yet studied are no reason to announce the beginning of an epidemic. Yet, he should send a raven to Dulberg, just in case. With his peripheral vision, Weiger notices movement and turns his head. At one of the doors, a freckled girl of about 8 years old is enthusiastically rubbing at the freshly created seal. "Hey, Scrum!" The girl notices Weiger and sticks out her tongue in response, chuckling. The Grand Exorcist is not irritated. The seals cannot be destroyed that easily. Neither can a palm erase them, nor a chisel chip them, nor even the endless northern showers in cold October wash them away. The brothers of St. Elmo alone know their secrets. But feeling that the shadow stretched out by the midday sun has stirred a bit, Weiger realizes that it is time to teach the wretch a lesson of respect for the Brotherhood, a lesson that all good people of Tenteria must learn sooner or later. "You little prankster!" Weiger takes off and strides towards the girl, but she squeals and rushes away. The exorcist follows her into the alley under an arc and strides faster. Very soon he catches the mischievous girl in a narrow and stuffy dead end. "Gotcha!" Looking back at the approaching brother, the girl frantically bangs her tiny fist on the door, upon which the seal is already whitening. Finally, the door swings open, and the frightened child rushes to safety under the skirt of a woman who appears in the doorway. Weiger looks up and recognizes the pair. Frau Gein, that he recalls must be her name. The woman timidly moves away, and quietly, as if she herself is somehow guilty, asks, "What did she do, good brother? My little birdie?" The exorcist softens his look, but his tone is strict. "Your birdie tried to erase the seals." Frau Gein spanks the girl right through the fabric of her emerald dress and huffs. "You're completely out of control, little brat." She then asks the Grand Exorcist in an ingratiating tone, "Don't punish her for the sleeper's sake. I'll do it myself. Please don't, good brother." Weiger just shrugs it off and is about to leave, but Frau Jean, looking a bit askance, adds, And these drawings, to be honest, we never asked Heinrich to deface our doors. They're made from solid and courier wood, not forged from old pipes like his own. Drawings? Drawings? The exorcist throws his hands up in indignation and responds with bitter irony. Oh, so the door is defaced. Well, as you wish. I'll order my man to erase the seal immediately. If you prefer the visits of spirits, that's your choice. And may the sleeper keep you safe. Wagga barely manages to turn around when the woman, already breaking into tears, grabs him by the edge of his cloak, terrified. Oh, forgive my ignorance. I did not know. Don't erase it. For a few moments, the exorcist looks into Frau Gein's eyes. Wet, wide-open eyes. Perhaps his words were a bit excessive. Farewell, he says. Sleeper bless you, good brother. Upon leaving, Weiger hears the door bolt click, and behind it, Frau Gein starts scolding the child. Only now does he allow himself to smile slightly underneath his mask. The exorcist glances at his shadow, stretched out by the dim northern sun, and it seems to tremble, chuckling in response. So, Richard has a shadow. Does Weiger have a shadow? We'll find out. Hopefully. On to the last day before the epidemic. It's dark, mysterious story. Despite the early hour, the street is empty and lifeless. Uneasy anticipation grips the whole area. It bristles with the teeth of lowered gratings and shields locked shutters. There are no voices, only the wind rustles carelessly with yellow whirlwinds and of dust and fallen leaves. Avis feels many frightened eyes are watching him. All of them expect something from him, rely on him, not only on him, on all the brothers. And Avis becomes ashamed that their hopes are beyond the Brotherhood's abilities. Everyone in the fortress is waiting for a crow from Dolenberg, as if the letter could stop the number of sick growing every day. I bet they'll write something like, "We recommend a quarantine and harsh measures," Avis thinks with a bitter smile. He is not afraid of the scale of possible epidemic. An unknown disease, that is what is scary. Meanwhile, the city becomes dangerous. While pious citizens sit in their homes, others less pious are out on the streets of Restot. If the Brotherhood starts doing badly, a riot is inevitable. Very soon, he will not risk walking the streets alone. Avis walks into another alley. The echo of his steps reflect from the walls, dissolving into the damp gloom. Only one house left. Once he checks it, his round is over. The Sanator knocks with a rusty door knocker and asks the usual question, trying to speak as low as possible. Good citizens, is everyone healthy? We are alive! A voice responds, muffled by the thick door. Not too detailed, but Avis does not need more. Sick people would surely beg for help. He is not mad at those who have not opened the door for him. The Senator leaves, happy with the realization that there will be no more victims on his shift. But how long will it last? Distracted by gloomy thoughts, he steps on something and feels an unpleasant crunch under his feet. Avis lowers his gaze, and cold sweat appears on his forehead. On the ground, there are dead birds, all covered in blood. What in the tenebres? Composing himself, the Senator carefully examines the birds, not daring to bow his head too low. Pigeons, crows, all torn crosswise. He looks around in haste, suppressing a quick flash of fear. There's no one around. Only the wind wails mournfully against the creaky weather vanes and ripples through sun-bleached flags. He shifts his gaze, and for a moment it seems to him that something is hanging from a weather vane. What is going on? A shining scarlet ribbon soars in the wind, pulsing, wriggling, as if it were alive. Avis steps back in disbelief and frantically rubs the red glasses of his crow mask with his palm. When he opens his eyes, the teasing scarlet ribbon is nowhere in sight. Was it a vision? Indeed, he hardly slept that night. He and Weiger marked infected houses on the map. With every pin he put down, Weiger changed his expression but remained stubbornly silent in response to questions. We'll see after the autopsy, Weiger kept repeating, as if reassuring not Avis but himself. For now, this is mere speculation, and the infection might be spreading from underground. Is this? Avis stops this thought and hastily signs himself with a protective gesture. Quickly, to the fortress! That, guys, is the rest of the days before the epidemic. Let me know how you guys like this. This is pretty damn nifty. I like it. It's cool. It's a little bit spooky, mysterious. I will be doing more. This has been Sanator, Scarlet Scarf. If you liked it, hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Pepe Vermando, signing out. See ya.